What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is Saturday, the 19th of November, 2016. How is everybody doing? You're in the beginning of your weekend. Some of you have already started your weekend, probably as early as Thursday. I ain't mad at you if you got to leave. Enjoy it because we're talking about your life. But nonetheless, I hope wherever you are well. I hope that what was revealed to you this week, it brought clarity and it brought peace of mind. Some of it may have been long overdue and now is being shown. Please do not think that was something done by fate or just by chance, because we're talking about your legacy. It's always been about your divine placement because you got work to do. So I hope wherever you are grounding your feet, speaking your truth, but always placing God first. Because see, the person that is in the future is depending that you reconnect to that little boy or little girl that's inside you that has always been there, that has always chronicalized the things that make your reality. Who am I talking to? But see, it's no secret, y'all. I have been on a feverish pitch as of lately, and I've been dropping videos a lot. And there's a reason for it. Give me 1 second, y'all, because first of all, know this. That's you. And we're going to get you there. I say we because your angels have always been there. The people that unconditionally love you want you there. And it's time to finally remove the shackles. Those shackles that have kept you stuck inside your mind, that have kept you stuck from making choices because you felt that you didn't have the control to see the outcome before the action. Who am I talking to? Give me 1 second, y'all, so I can fill up my cup, so I can convey this message to the intended heart, intended mind. So how's your weekend going thus far? I hope that you're allowing yourself to rejuvenate. That's right. To rejuvenate, that means you have to make a conscious decision to be still or rest or re-stimulate your essence, your spiritual essence, the makings of you. I hope you're making time for you. But I know that we live in a world where we want to juggle things and grab things and keep things motion and pray that they do not fall apart. Don't worry. Just stay on path. Somebody's been working very hard for a certain outcome, a certain delivery, a certain message, a certain validation of what needs to be understood. See, right now we're in an environment where you got a lot of people afraid. And you say, well, why do you say that, Gerald? No, 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 no. I want you to understand something. There are those people that are systematically in your life by choice or maybe by indirect connection that are very afraid of your shifting because they felt it. They sensed it a long time ago. It may have been like little spots, like on a EKG. There's been little things that you were doing that caused them to, at first, take note, but then they started to look. And the perception that they had for you doesn't fit no more because that's truth. And they want so much for you to get back to who you were when they came back, when they came into your life the first time. They can't afford that you're waking up. They can't afford that you want to be happy. They can't afford the fact that you are making the conscious decision to no longer be silent. How about give that voice to that little boy or that little girl that's been there the whole time? Mm-hmm. But see, the problem is everything that makes your perceptions, your ideologies, your belief, they're starting to be placed under review. You can't understand where you're going if you didn't look back of where you've been. Because when you decide to look at where you've been, it'll validate where you are. Who am I talking to? So what's going on, y'all, is really real. Recognize as real. This has to happen. But here's the kicker. Because God loves you so much, he's always loved you because he's always been there. But because he gives you two spiritual gifts after he assigned your life by giving you the breath of life. Number one, to unconditionally love yourself. And number two, the gift of free will. You're starting to see an old, familiar pattern. But what's different is you're seeing a different viewpoint now, which is causing a lot of question marks to arise. Maybe put voice behind those things. And you have every right to do so. Because guess what? Newsflash, you were entitled that in the beginning. But see, things had to occur to stimulate that. But just make sure that whatever the motivation is, it is not done out of vengeance, but it's done out of wisdom. Because it's your truth. It's the truth. See, I hear people all the time say, well, Gerald, deep down inside, I've always just wanted to live a peaceful life. I've always wanted to be appreciated. I've always wanted to be empowered, as well as serve as a mentor to those who are going to come on the path that I've walked on. I don't want people to go through what I've gone through and make the same repetitive mistakes, because I understand those repetitive mistakes were generational, because that's why the cycles have not been broken. And I know that that was the reason why some of the fears that I had was because of the realities of others, which only brought me right into that. Who am I talking to? You was too busy focusing on the behavior, say, of your uncle, because your uncle was an alcoholic, and you focus so much on your uncle's behavior, you end up repeating the behavior. Who am I talking to? But this is not to condemn you. This is only to show you that there's so much more, something deeper. And it has to come to pass with or without your consent. Because, see, that's the reason why we're here, y'all. To continue in the lineage of your family tree. Some people won't get that opportunity because they will choose and unfortunately be deceived, and that will cut them short. But it won't be in vain, because of the fact that there will be those connected by blood and bone that will understand and see the value of their mortality, understand and see the value of their time. That is why it's very imperative that you guys come to understand not everybody's going to know your story. Only a select few. Sure, I've echoed this before. There'll be many people that will be campaigning and interviewing for the VIP spot, which is your life partner, your mate. Because there's only one you. Some will come with strategy, some will come methodically, and some will just try to distract you from fulfilling what is known as your life. Because you don't think that you are going to just simply coast through life without being tested, do you? Surely you do not believe that what makes your reality is the end all be all, too. So you have to give permission to that, y'all. That's what free will's about. And that's why there's so much damage in the world today, because for a long time, very long time, them demons been running amok. See, you got to get past the perception of the pitchfork and the pointy horns and the tail. But wherever your mind is, that will be your manifestation too. But let's be honest. You can't truly understand that without acknowledging that God exists too. It would be pointless to just say, well, you know, the devil's here and my life is in hell and that's why I exist. No. Only if you choose to make your life reflect that. And guess what? There are going to be many people that are going to talk a good game, and they're going to make extra effort to push the perception that that is the case. They know that you are the star of the show, and they're going to make sure that the environment matches. Some of y'all may know them as energy vampires. Yeah, that's nothing but wordplay, but that's nothing but demonic activity too. That's why you can only feel the effect and not put your finger on it. But there are those people that believe when they hear a bump in the night and they see things, you know, to each his own. But wasn't it God that said to be weary of those who will come with signs and wonders? He first was talking about the fallen angels. You don't believe me? Start doing research about the Sumerians. Look at the imagery of what the Sumerians looked like. And why did they have those wings? Why? because they were the fallen angels, y'all. But to accept that, that means you have to accept some other things too. And the world that we live in benefits that you don't know. Mm-hmm. They want to keep you deaf, dumb, and blind because they know that generates money, that generates control, that can generates power too. The greatest power you're going to ever come in contact is the ability to love yourself. You don't actually think that you are supposed to wake up every day in misery, in depression. And here's the thing about it. You identify the fact that you are depressed. Maybe that's the reason why you put so much empowerment in those little pills. Who am I talking to? Maybe that's the reason why your behavior has always been erratic. And when called into question why, it spawns defiance. When in actuality, it's really insecurity because you don't know why you do what you do. A lot of that has to do with, oh, way back when. The people that were entrusted in your development too. Those were things that were not mastered but passed on to you. But to fully understand that, that means you have to be vulnerable with yourself. And let's be clear on something. There are going to be millions and millions of people. They're going to be screaming, I want happiness. I want peace on earth. I want the simple things. I want yesterday. But the truth of the matter, they're doing it for you. They're doing it for your edification. And they have no intentions on changing who they are. They don't want to do that because they already know what the benefit was to have that position. And they're not going to give that back. They're not going to do that work. They're just going to hope that you allow it to fly over your head, to turn a blind eye, and act like the elephant is not in the room. Who am I talking to? So this goes back to now, the 19th of November, 2016. You're going to have to make a conscious decision to ask yourself, what does happiness look like? Because we can say right off the bat, you know that happiness can't be bought, can't be strong-held, cannot be manipulated nor controlled. It comes from within yourself. So the real question is, will you do the work? Do you want the payoff? Are you going to claim what is rightfully yours? Because if you really, really want that, there are going to be some shifting going on in your life. There are going to be some truths that you weren't privileged to know about that will be revealed. This is going to happen for two reasons. Number one, you already earned the right to know this information because you exist. The second is to see how you're going to react. And how you decide to react will have a direct effect on your perception, your biases, and your fears. So the real question should be asked, how bad you want it? because there will be a price that you will have to pay. That price may require associations and relationships to end. Some may be by way of having direct connection to a fixture that is material, an asset. And the truth of the matter is, waging what is physical compared to what is spiritual. I've told you time and time again, y'all, there is no price that can be placed over your head that can measure the value of your life. You are a walking, talking history book, because only you will have the perception and the viewpoint. The commonality may be others that can understand what you have experienced, but it is your story. So the real question is, are you just preaching to the choir just to get acknowledged that you said something? Or is your actions speaking louder than any word that can be conceived out of your mouth? This is not shade. This is a call to the intended heart, the intended mind, to claim your life back. So, you got to think about it. And when the truth comes, and it is, will you have the courage to acknowledge it? A lot of it will be having a better understanding of what you went through, what you saw, as well as the people that had their role involved. But don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid, because just know this: God always has something better. And no matter how hard. See, that's the reason why when people finally admit that they've been hurt or betrayed or deceived, they make a conscious decision to either rebel to keep the position or submit. And those people who choose to hold on to what they think they have control of, which they don't, it becomes even more harder to hold on. It becomes more painful to grasp upon. Why? Because it's truth. Now, you know those hopes and dreams that you've been milling over? Now let's put that to the side. And you know those natural gifts and talents that you've always had, which is really crazy, because you don't even speak on it, because you feel that you have to take a position where you feel that you must dumb down or hide who you are just to fit in a certain environment. How's that working out? How's that working out, really? Is it worth the stress? Is it worth the maltreatment? Because I know some of y'all been towing this line of, well, I'm gonna be loyal to my pain because as long as I stay loyal to my pain, it gives me access to the reality I have. But you are paying a price that leaves scars. I'm not talking about the scars that can be seen. I'm talking about the scars that are within. And what makes it more frustrating is you have no control when it heals. But actually you do. The healing process begins when you finally are transparent with yourself to acknowledge its existence. Who am I talking to? Does it surprise you now that you're starting to see these epiphanies and you're realizing the games that were played or the insight that was given as advice were the same tools used against you? And it makes you feel a certain way. You know the reason why? That's why all things repeat, which was one of the greatest deceptions out there put out there, because man pushed this position of, well, history doesn't repeat itself. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It doesn't stop repeating until you acknowledge the lesson. Did you get the wisdom? And did you grow from it? But that's why, subsequently, misery always has an empty seat. Because misery always loves company. But misery will never have loyalty. Only sustainment. Why? Because that's a tool that the devil uses. He's not going to come out and just say, you know what, I want to do everything I can to destroy your family lineage. So I'm going to inspire you to just focus on the things that are temporary. But when it's time, I'm gonna ask for my IOU back. No, he ain't gonna do that. He ain't gonna do that. And the people that think they have access to you are banking because they're fulfilling his actions through theirs. That's why when you try to seek counsel, they're never there. Because they're not there for that. They're there to show you the example. If they don't have integrity with themselves, what makes you think they're going to have integrity for you? Or better yet, what makes you think that they were intending to be there the entire time? They never had intentions to do that. But they did not have the fortitude nor the integrity to reveal it. That's what you're feeling. That's what you're feeling. Partly, partly, partly. But I've come to know this too. People that make the choice to say, well, you know what, Lord? I made some choices in my life that was not in my best light, and I'm wrong. I was wrong, and I just want to do better. Guide me. You know what happens? He starts showing things that were there the whole time for you to take note. Who am I talking to? You might notice it in people's behaviors. You might pick it up on a single conversation. You may subconsciously My mouth, these soup coolers ain't working. May have what we know is a revelation. How's your dreams these days? Now, when you get tired of trying to rationalize the things you don't have control of, then you can go ahead and get back to work. Maybe then you'll finally say, you know what? No matter what I've done, no matter what I've been through, I value my life. I deserve to be happy. That's an entitlement that I must prepare for. And watch your life change. And watch them run. Everybody that didn't have intentions, you're gonna see it. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Why? Because now we're talking validation of your free will, because you got to have a right to choose, should I stay or should I go? And if not, you can just remain to suffer in silence. You actually believe that you're losing your mind. No, what you're losing is your denial. The spiritual veil is falling, and the products of choices past are right before you. Now, I'm being moved to speak on this. Totally left field. I don't know who this goes to, but there's somebody right now you're trying to convince everybody that you're insecure. First, you've got body issues. It's like an indirect way of body shaming yourself just to fit in a certain social setting. They look at you like you're the entertainment, not the investment. And you're saying to yourself, I don't know how long I can keep this up. If I get one more comment like that, I'm going to let them have it. But the truth of the matter is this is all spawned off of a disappointment that you had long ago. Long ago. And in secret, well, you think in secret, to balance your emotions, you like to eat. Your eating is like your friend. But yet it contradicts the position that you have to your public. You might be that person who said, well, I think I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. Let me tell you something. The people that you are aligning yourself with don't care. But they won't have the courage to tell you that. They like you as broken as you are, because you're controllable. They can get you to do whatever they want, when they want, just by how you respond. And you caught that. You've actually said, you've actually connected the dots, and you realize when you respond a certain way, that's always the outcome is, whatever that may be. And you're ready to break that cycle. And I congratulate you on that. But let me tell you something on this. For those people that have these hang-ups about their physicality. 2017 gonna be that year, gonna be your get it year. And all I can tell you is this: your environment will change. The people in your environment will show you exactly who they are. Some will even derive from your family. And you're going to start to see the nuances of why certain relationships were formed and why certain relationships were tolerated. Who am I talking to? Because the truth is coming out. They may look at you as you the loose cannon. So they deal with you on a need to know basis. But in actuality, every time that you do focus on yourself, they're amazed. They're simply amazed on the things that you can manifest when you apply yourself. Who am I talking to? To the fellas. (2017) is going to be a year that you're going to understand who is planting seeds compared to who is ripping up roots. And you're going to have to make a decision on your placement. You got to understand something. What is the point in investing in people or things that will not grow? What is the point? This is no disrespect to your emotional state. But you have to make a conscious decision that it has been depleting you for quite some time. The choice is yours. Because one thing for sure is this: time does not stop. And the things that you are privileged to, the things that will make up your logic, your actions, even your biases. Because I know I have a feeling that that's a problem for some people. Some people, they feel that their mind has been shook. And you're like, well, you know, the way I see things, the way I was taught, the way I've experienced doesn't coincide with who I am today. And there's a battle within yourself of trying to sift out what is a need, what was a want, and what was a distraction. The only way that's going to come about is you got to ask yourself, are you capable of seeing it through? You might be like so many that battle with procrastination. And if you look at that procrastination, you also see the connection of maybe an addiction. You know, what is it you're doing that robs you of your time? What is it? Who is it that every time that you make a decision, hey, I need to do this for me, they're the first one campaigning, don't do that. Who you think you are? Why you acting like them? When lo and behold, they may be witnessing the transformation of someone who not only was blessed, but was great. I don't have to tell you, there's been a campaign for the last 45, almost 50 years to dumb down society. Look at what's going on today. They're revealed now Cleveland has lead issues with their water. That's the third location. First Flint, then Atlanta, now Cleveland. And and I know what's going on. I know what's going on. Part of it was the resource that was used. That's what it was. And it served the means, but no one turned around and said, hey, you know what? We need to think about changing this stuff up because it's getting people sick. It wasn't doing any neurological studies like that. So does it surprise you how it affected the aptitude of its populace? Hmm? One thing's for sure, you don't hear about anybody wealthy saying, hey man, there's something wrong with my water. Hey man, there's something wrong with my food. No, you don't hear that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's why when you see the effects of regentrification, you notice they tear everything down to the core. And what do? They rip the pipes up too to start the process all over again. Now's the time, y'all. You gotta make a choice. You want to continue to run? Go ahead. Keep putting your dreams and hopes and saying coulda, woulda, shoulda. Nobody can stop you but you. Go right ahead. Continue to place a price tag on your mortality. And I'll tell you what, them fools will constantly come in and out of your life only with the sole purpose to deplete everything about you from the inside out. Why you think you got them bruises? Why you think you got them bumps? Charlie can give it to you. Sir, why do you think that no one viable wants to know your story? But they're gladly wasting time. The reason for that is because you don't see the investment in you. So they're not going to take you serious. They're not going to see your worth. They're not going to understand the value of a simple hello. They won't. Mm-mm. Well, they'll constantly adjust your libido as long as you choose not to love yourself. Yes, we live in the age where the things that should be rejected is celebrated. And it's funny too, because I'm gonna bring this home because I'm not even gonna go in that bag. But it can easily be said that how and the things that we were exposed to from the Walt Disney pictures to the cartoons day to day, because you know that's all propaganda. That's why you think the way you think. And as you educate yourself, so does the media. Yeah, you don't see no little 5-year-olds watching soaps. Why? Because they can't relate. They're there to serve as a tool to guide you to a certain economic positioning. Some see it, some don't. But if you are that person that has this mindset, well, Gerald, when will my prince come? Where's my knight of shining armor that'll whisk me away? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. As long as you use these. Yeah, these right here. These. Never. It will never happen. Until you make a conscious decision to get here. Can you understand the use of that? This is the reason why God said, you reap what you sow. And sometimes seeds that are planted don't harvest in the next season. Sometimes it takes years. The years are nothing but the example of the wisdom, the experience. The preparation is time, which is the resource. So does it surprise you why you can't have a heart-to-heart with Billy? Because Billy's not ready. Even though he may look like a man, he's still a little boy. He's still a little boy. And the problems that you are feeling are byproducts of wisdom not instilled. That's why it's so important, my female subscribers. The worst thing you could do is, if you are blessed to have a son, to not position him before a man. He's not a man because he's slinging good wood or his pockets are deep. He's a man because he places God first, and his life unfolds. Not everybody's going to be able to have that. Not everybody. This is evident when the amount of divorce rates are the way they are. I think they're like 65% now, because society has told and convinced women that you don't have to work, you don't have to you don't have to marry for love. You marry for security, only to be disenfranchised by your mind, your body. Oh, especially your body. Because that guy don't love you because you don't love you. And that's why the things you said you would never do, you do twice on Sunday, hoping it stays in the confounds of the wall. This is not shade. This is freedom. Because God does have somebody. Always have. And they're learning the same lessons that you may be learning. And they are being made new. So if your mind and your emotions feel like you're going through a emotional spin cycle, you could say, from a literal sense, you feel like you're about to have a nervous breakdown. No, that's a spiritual break off. Because all those things that were put before you that did not serve you, they are being called into review so that you can make a choice. And some won't. Some will suffer in silence. And you know it, you see it. They're so delusional and disconnected from themselves. It's sad. Why do you think the metaphor of the Joneses exists? It's an example of what not to do. But society says that is the template for success, but there's no love there. If there's no love, there's no structure. If there's no structure, there's no validation. And that is the world we're living in. So how much is your life worth? Truly. Is it worth the disrespect, the bumps, the bruises that you try so hard to hide? Let me tell you something, y'all, and I'm going to bring this home. Your eyes are the window to your soul. And whatever is within you is seen by the intended heart and mind. Oh, yes. You don't want to come in contact with somebody that is spiritual because they see right through you. They won't judge you. They'll definitely pray for you. They'll pray that your shackles be revealed and your preparation breaks every one, every fear, every insecurity, every doubt, so that little boy and little girl inside you can finally exhale. Yeah, you're going to have to do the work. That's why looks fade. And those who do the most running, you see it. Boy, look at Hillary Clinton these days. Like she done been through a lot, huh? It doesn't serve you to have secrets. There's no payout on that. But there's always a price. Choice is, will you finally admit to see your value of what and who you are? Only you can answer that. So I'm bringing this home, y'all, because I got to start my day momentarily too. I hope you have a blessed weekend and whatever is going to come to pass. Because because no, don't get it twisted. The devil is going to be like, oh, you on that level now? You on that? Well, take this to see how you're going to react to it. Some of y'all are going to be in your storm for quite a long time. And let me let you know, that's when you need to humble yourself and have a conversation with him. That's why people say, as the scripture, and I'm going to paraphrase, sorrow is for a moment, but joy cometh in the morning. Who's that for? Some of y'all finally hearing your voice for the very first time, and there's peace behind it because you ain't got to yell no more. They can't talk you out of it. And you understand what's required and needed to be done. I commend you on that. So behold what is about to be revealed in your life. Just know that God has always had something better. And maybe where you are right now, everything that's behind you had to come to pass to get you here. Yes, you're at your crossroads. That's what free will is all about. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. You don't get a badge for enduring the pain. Mm-mm. But you do get the reward when you finally can say, I know who I am. I understand why, and I know where I'm going. Have a blessed weekend, y'all. Peace.